It's a pretty exciting day around here. Our countertops are getting installed over the next couple of days. And it's actually been, oh man, I don't know, 6 to 8 months since we purchased these countertops. But when you live far out in the woods, as we do, you have to kind of plan around the weather because our road is only really considered a road in the loosest of terms. So I had the countertop guy come out and give us a quote maybe 3 or 4 months ago now, and we kept trying to schedule it, but we had a really wet spring, and so he wasn't comfortable coming up to the house with his truck and his equipment and all of that until now when it is summertime. So here we go. He is on his way right now, and I'll show you a little bit of the prep work that we did and talk about why we do things this way. So the first thing to know is that kitchen cabinets and countertops were really pretty low on my priority list. But we had a friend of ours who bought several cabinets and those granite countertops that I just showed you at auction for like super cheap, and then proceeded to resell them super cheap. So that's where these came from. You can probably see there's a bit of a difference between the style of these cabinets and these cabinets. And that's because these cabinets actually came out of a remodel that my cousins did about 25 years ago. And my mom squirreled these away. They're beautiful solid oak cabinets. And I was finally able to put them to use. So yeah, a lot of long-term planning and also a lot of flexibility in aesthetic design, if you will. This is actually the first incarnation of my kitchen cabinetry, which I scored for free from a yard sale. And I have to say, I really like the drawers. They are super functional. So if you're doing a kitchen on a budget, highly recommend dressers. That's just, I never would have thought of it, but it works out perfectly, and people are always getting rid of them, especially the super retro ones like this one. You can pick them up super free or super cheap or free. Now, as far as prep work goes for the countertop install, I secured the cabinetry to the wall, and in order to do that, I had to know where the studs were, right? So used stud finder for that. I've always been a fan of function over form. We can always come back later and replace the doors and make them all matchy-matchy. But right now, this is pretty well matched in my world. We did leave this bay because a dishwasher will go in here. So this I sized for a 24-inch wide gap. And then the other thing that I did was I put the cabinets up on 3/8 shims, because this is not the forever floor, and I wanted to ensure that we had plenty of space in terms of height for a dishwasher to get back in there once we have the forever floor laid down. So planning ahead is really important. And then it's also important to know standard depth, because that granite is not very forgiving. So that is why this is the way it is right here, where this one, even though it's broken a little bit, but it actually is solid further down, is against the wall, and it sticks out over here. And on this side, the cabinet itself doesn't stick out, but we put a shim in there to compensate. So that is pretty much the same all the way across there. And then this 2x8 piece is in here because if it weren't in here, this cabinet door would not open like this, and this drawer would not be able to open. But now by shimming that out by 1.5 inches, it allows that to happen pretty smoothly. And then I had a gap, so I filled it with just a whiteboard from Home Depot. I am gonna fill in that ugly bit there with some caulk and then paint it. And then this is kind of important. So this is an awkward corner, right? So there's actually an empty space behind there. I recessed this back so that when I come along and I put in the rest of the toe kick, it'll extend all the way across there and it'll fill that space. And then we'll have a clean corner. Another bit of prep work we did was to put 1x across the wall here in this corner, which is a round, obviously, corner cabinet. And that will give the countertop something to sit on, so it's not just extending out there into nothing. Another bit of prep work we did was to remove the sink that we had been using for the past year and change. I actually love this sink, but it is old and it's got, you know, some wear and tear and all of that. So the countertop guy did talk me into a new sink. It'll be a single basin stainless steel, just generic sink, which is totally fine. This sink was actually down in the flat when we bought the property, so it's my favorite price. It was free and it was doing a great job for us for the past couple of years. It's cast iron and it is heavy, so William and I worked together to get it out here last night. And so yeah, when the new sink goes in, I'll be pretty excited about that. I thought it was really funny. The countertop guy was very clear that he doesn't hook up sinks or disconnect sinks, and that I would need a plumber to come and do that, to which I laughed. Because I am the plumber around here, and it's not all that hard to hook up a faucet and a sink. So if you doubt yourself, just go ahead and give it a shot. And if you ever played with Legos or Connect or any of those things when you were a kid, plumbing is pretty simple. I mentioned that the kitchen cabinets and countertops weren't really a high priority for me at this moment, but you know, when opportunity like this arises and you're able to score kitchen cabinetry and countertops for pennies on the dollar, you'd kind of be foolish to pass that up, because deals like that don't often come along. So just wanted to make sure that we had it secured. But then, like I said, it's been months since we bought this stuff. We have another video of us unloading it. It is quite heavy, so I'm really curious how they're going to get it in the house and all of that. But I know they have tricks of the trade, and that's why I'm paying them. And the other thing to know is that because we got such a screaming deal on the cabinets and the countertops, I can afford to pay a professional to come and put them in. So I'm excited about that. Thanks for watching. Please be sure to like and subscribe and follow us at Off Grid Rising so that you can stay up to date on all our progress and get some more kind of budget friendly and planning tips for off-grid homesteading.